We gather here tonight to bring women back to their rightful place.
The Testaments, a new Hulu original series from the executive producers of The Handmaid's Tale.
It's easier to accept a story than believe that the people around you are monsters.
The battle isn't over.
There comes a time when you have to take action, when you have to choose your own destiny.
Never quite as it seems.
Watch the new Hulu original series, The Testaments, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
Excuse me! Taxi! What are you doing?
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, that Michigan fight song's in honor of our next guest.
Let's go to Michigan. Why don't you bring in Mike Rogers?
That's the Michigan fight song, John.
That's it. I love that song.
We know, and we have to say congrats to Michigan because they just won the national championship, the big basketball championship, right, Mike? I mean, you guys are winning one more time. Sadly, by the way, I did go to UConn for a little bit, so I'm a little upset, but I'm going to not hold that against you.
I paid a lot of tuition for Ann Arbor, and I'm very happy about this.
It's about time the Big Ten won again. It was the last time was 2000 with the Michigan State Spartans under Tom Izzo. So we have the Michigan Wolverines winning. It's a great day in Michigan.
It is. And Congressman Rogers, first let's talk about something you know so well. You know, you're a former FBI. You're also, of course, head of the Intel Committee. So much there. Also an Army guy. What are you most concerned about now with all the stuff with Iran in terms of threats to the homeland?
Well, obviously, you know, when you pour 10 to 20 million people over the border by invitation during the Biden administration, you know who a lot of those are, but you don't know who a whole bunch more aren't. And so you don't know where they are. You don't know where they're at in the country. You certainly don't know what their intentions are. And so that's always concerning. We know that sleeper cells are a thing. Matter of fact, when I was an FBI agent, I was working organized crime, and during the Gulf War, got pulled to make sure we were tracking these sleeper agents back then, and that was Iraq. So Iran uses the same tactic, and they're probably a measure better than the Iraqi sleeper cells were. So I worry about that a lot. I worry about cyber attacks. They still have that capability in Iran. It doesn't take a lot for them to launch a very aggressive and damaging and destructive cyber attack. But beyond that, I mean, that's things that we know and we can work on. And guess what? I mean, they are certainly a diminished military, but they have their intelligence apparatus that still has functioning outside of the country. I worry about that a little bit. You know,
Congressman Mike Rogers, I couldn't believe this, and I'm curious your reaction to this. This guy, Abdul El Sayed, he's the one of the Democratic candidates in the same race that you're in. And here's your great background that cares about this country. And you've got this guy, Abdul El Sayed, who's hanging around with Hassan Piker. In fact, they were at rallies last night in Michigan. He's running for the U.S. Senate race. And Hassan Piker has made these really vile, horrible comments about America, saying it deserved 9/11 and the rapes were not a big deal on October 7th. And there they are standing side by side, trashing the president. And obviously Hassan Piker's had a history of trashing America. What's your reaction when you see somebody who's running there in the race and with individuals like this?
Well, and this should concern all of us, including all of your listeners. So Abdul is now, there's a three-way Democrat primary for the U.S. Senate race in Michigan, and he is now the leader. Since he started all of this, his Act Blue contributions have gone up. His numbers have gone up. The excitement about his race has gone up. So remember, it didn't seem like it was all that long ago to me where if you were kind of flirting around somebody who said America deserved 9/11, his favorite flag was the Hamas flag, that would be an immediate disqualification for running for office. Well, guess what? In the modern Democrat Party, and here in Michigan is no different, that is now a badge of honor. And so they're going after these younger voters, and they're doing it by condemning America. It's really sad to see. And I think it's disqualifying. I think it's vile and disgusting. When you say that it didn't bother you that they raped those Israeli women when they, the horrible terrorist attack on October 7th. I mean, that in and of itself is disqualifying. But here we are, and this is what they're talking about, and they're trying to convince a whole young generation of Americans. They went to 2 college campuses. America is the bad guy. That's why this race is so important, and I hope people all over the country, including your listeners, go to RogersForSenate.com, ROGERSFOR for Senate.com, and help us out. We're going to need all the help we can get. Think of that. He is now the leader of the 3 radicals running. He is now leading.
What has happened to our country?
Boy, it sure beats me. I think the internet and social media has poisoned the minds of a lot of people. We know for a fact that countries like Iran have very aggressive disinformation campaigns. I'm sure some of your listeners, when they're in there, got in their feeds and you saw American aircraft carrier burning and Iran saying they struck an aircraft carrier. All of that was nonsense. It was all misinformation, disinformation. Well, guess what? They've got stuff targeted for kids as well, just about how bad Israel is and how bad the United States is.
And the kids believe it.
And the kids believe it. They're not getting a counter argument or a counter narrative. Of course they're going to believe it, unfortunately. And I think that weighs in heavily on this.
Yeah, real quick, Judge Weinberg.
Congressman, good to talk to you again. So This is my concern. Instead of having the country united behind President Trump in his fight against Islamist fascism, a doctrine wants to dominate and control the world with no respect for freedom of speech, thought, or religion, they're rallying behind people like that. It's so important for you to be elected to the Senate because what the Democrats now are doing is they're saying they want to impeach Trump. They want to exercise the 25th Amendment to have him removed from office. And that's why we have to have common sense people with your experience as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, your FBI experience to protect this country in the Senate. What are your thoughts?
Well, as my mother would say, Judge, from your lips to God's ears. I do believe that we've got to put some common sense back in. And by the way, we've got to get away from this notion, whatever political party is, when America is in challenge, we should stand up for America. We shouldn't be nice to the Ayatollah. Think of this, again, my opponent, who said when the terrorists attacked the synagogue here in Michigan, he was hurting because of, the attack on the Hezbollah military commanders. I mean, you can't have this, and you can't have that narrative. And we need America, and we need the youth of America to understand how important America is for the future, for them and for the world. When you talk about peace and prosperity, boy, this is only one place in the world where this can happen. It's here. And having half of the country jump up and down and want us to fail is a recipe for disaster. And so we've got to change the tone. We've got to change the conversation. And we've got to stand up for the United States in a way that lets people understand that, hey, this 250 years is only going to last another 250 years if we stand up and believe what
100% right. Congressman Mike Rogers, candidate for Michigan for the United States Senate. We need you there and keep fighting for America. Thank you for being. How long were you in the FBI?
I was in about 6 years. I've worked organized crime in Chicago.
Well, thank you, and let's work organized crime in America because we got a mess in our hands. Thank you so much, and keep fighting every day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.